don't have to have the reciprocal values over here, but it sure will make life a lot easier if you have them when you are working with reciprocal questions. This is just to make life easier on you. Your choice. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to go backwards. Okay, so in the past, I've asked you to find a value given an angle. Okay, so for example, I asked you to find the cosine of pi over 3. So we went to pi over 3. We know cosine is x, and my answer was 1/2. Today, I'm going to ask you where is the cosine value 1/2, and your answer is going to be pi over 3. So today, I'm going to give you one of these values, and I'm going to ask you to answer with the angle. Okay. Now, because of some restrictions that we have with domain, which I can show you on a graph on another day, I just didn't want to take the time to do it today, we have a limited number of answer choices depending on which trig function I'm asking you. Okay? Sine, cosecant, and tangent use these restrictions right here. If I am asking you, let me tell you what it does real quick, and then I'll give you a minute to copy it down. If I am asking you about a positive value, you will answer with an answer in the first quadrant, just like you normally would. But if I am asking you about a value that is negative, we're going to drop into the fourth quadrant, and you're going to answer with one of these. So if you have a negative value for sine, cosecant, and tangent, your answer will be negative. Your angle will be negative. Okay, so jot that picture down for me on that same sheet of paper so that you have that. Okay, so there's a limited number of answer choices to these questions. You can only answer with one of those things. So if I'm asking you about a negative sine value, you cannot answer with 11 pi over 6, even though they are technically the same angle. You have to answer with negative pi over 6. Okay, so be sure, again, those are your only answer choices. Okay. There's one more picture to copy down. Then I'll show you how it works. Okay. My last picture is for cosine, secant, and cotangent. For cosine, secant, and cotangent, positive values are still in the first quadrant, but the negatives move over to the second quadrant. So if you are given a question with a negative cosine, secant, or cotangent value, your answer will either be 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 6, or pi. So your answers for cosine, secant, and cotangent questions are always positive. Now again, these pictures apply to the inverse questions. Okay, I'm not changing what we did earlier this semester. It's just that we're changing the type of question. And these questions are inverse questions. Our calculators actually already use these restrictions. That's kind of nice. All right, when you get good at these actually go really, really fast. These don't take very long at all. Okay, remember I'm going to give you a value, and we're looking for the angle. I'm going to give you a value, and the answer is going to be an angle. Okay, so look at worksheet number 5. Keep that where you can see it. And let's look at worksheet number 5. Okay, and I'm going to start right here with number 1. Okay, when the value is positive, I'm just answering any question with an angle in the first quadrant. Okay, so with number 1, let me remind you that sine is y. So I'm going to ask myself the question, where is my y value 1/2? So I have a y value of 1/2 right here. My answer is going to be my angle, which is pi over 6. So my answer here is pi over 6. Okay, so ask yourself the question, where is my sine value 1/2? I have a sine value of 1/2 at the angle of pi over 6. Okay. All right, let's go take a look at number 2. Okay, on number 2, I'm still working sine, so I'm looking for y. I'm going to ask myself the question, where is my sine value? The square root of 3 over 2. So here's my y value of the square root of 3 over 2. My angle that goes with it is pi over 3. My answer is pi over 3. Okay. All right, let's work a cosine. All right, on number 4, I'm going to ask myself the question, where is cosine 1? Okay, reminder that cosine is x. So I'm going to look at my quadrant 1 because it's positive, and I see that I have an x value of 1 right here at 0 pi. So my answer will be 0 pi. I cannot call it 2 pi. 2 pi is not one of my answer choices. Okay. All right, on number 5, I'm working tangent. Tangent is y over x. That's these values that I have written out here on the side. So I'm going to ask myself, where is tangent 1? So here's my 1 right here for tangent. My angle is going to be pi over 4. So my answer will be pi over 4. Okay, so for the ones that are positive, for sine, cosine, and tangent, find the value on quadrant 1. Any questions on those? Okay, let's jump down to number 8. So number 8 starts to work with one of my reciprocals. Okay, when I'm working with a reciprocal, I'm going to find the regular value first. So I'm going to actually find the inverse tangent of 1, because when I flip 1 over, I still have 1. Okay, now I'm answering the same question that I had on number 5. Where is my tangent value 1? My tangent value is 1, also at pi over 4. Okay, so with cotangent and tangent, the positives go together. Okay, let's try a secant. All right, I know the reciprocal of secant is cosine, so I'm going to switch over to cosine. And when I flip over the square root of 2, it's right here on my list. When I flip that over, I'm going to have the square root of 2 over 2. Okay, this is why I made this list right here, to make these reciprocals easier. So I'm going to flip over the square root of 2, and I'm going to have the square root of 2 over 2. All right, so now look at quadrant 1, and I'm going to ask myself, where is cosine, which is x, the square root of 2 over 2, and that's right here at pi over 4. So my answer will be pi over 4. Okay. These are angles. You do not need to flip them upside down. Okay, we don't ever flip an angle upside down, so you don't need to make it 4 over pi. Leave it pi over 4. Okay, any questions on our positive reciprocals? Okay, let's keep moving down. All right, let's jump into our negatives. All right, so on number 11, I'm going to find where is sine negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay, notice with sine, with a negative value, all of my answer choices are negative. Do you see that? So with sine, I've got negative value, means I'm going to have a negative answer. So I'm going to go ahead and start by putting on my negative. I know this answer is going to be a negative angle because I'm working with sine. Okay, then I'm going to find where is y, the square root of 3 over 2, on my quadrant 1. Y is the square root of 3 over 2 right here. So my angle is going to be pi over 3. So my answer is negative pi over 3. Okay, so with sine, cosecant, and tangent, if you have a negative value, your answer will be negative. Okay, give number 14 a try. See if you can find 14. Check yours when you're ready. Okay, again, a negative value for sine means my answer is going to be negative. And I found my y value of 1/2 to be right here at pi over 6. Okay, any questions on 14? Okay, cosine is a little bit different. Okay, remember for cosine, I'm going to jump down here and use this picture. So my answer for cosine is always positive. Because my value is negative, I'm now limiting myself to these answers over here. Okay, so I'm going to have to use one of these answers over here now. Okay, so let's start with cosine is the square root of 2 over 2. Let's start with our positive at, here's cosine, square root of 2 over 2. At pi over 4. Pi over 4. That's my reference angle. Okay, so go back and think about reference angles. Now with cosine being negative, I need to use this picture right here with one of these. So my over 4 angle is 3 pi over 4. So my answer is going to be 3 pi over 4. Okay, so use the positive version of it to find your reference angle. Then use your second quadrant to answer the question. Okay. All right, 17 with tangent. I'm going to jump back to this picture. With tangent being negative, my answer is going to be negative. Okay, I know tangent is 1 at pi over 4. So my answer is going to be negative pi over 4. Cotangents get tricky, okay? With cotangents, I'm going to use tangent to find my reference angle. Okay, when I flip the square root of 3 upside down, I'm going to have the square root of 3 over 3. Okay, so these are reciprocals of each other. So I'm going to flip this upside down. Okay. I know I have a tangent value of the square root of 3 over 3 at pi over 6. So this is pi over 6. But what's tricky about cotangent is that because it's negative, I need to go and use this picture. Okay, do you see how tangent and cotangent use different pictures? Okay, so before I answer, I need to go to my cotangent picture. I'm working with a reference angle of pi over 6. So my over 6 angle is going to be 5 pi over 6. Okay, so you can only use the answers that are on their picture. Okay, last one, 23. Sine and cosecant are on the same picture. That makes this a little bit easier. Okay, sine and cosecant do go together. With cosecant being negative, I know my answer is going to be negative. So I'm going to start there with negative. Okay, then I'm going to go find my reference angle. And I'm going to say that when I flip the square root of 2 over, I get the square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so I'm finding where is sine, the square root of 2 over 2, and that's at pi over 4. So my answer will be negative pi over 4. Again, once you get good at them, they go very quickly, okay? But keep referring back to your 3 pictures that you have on your paper there, okay? Okay, so your homework for tonight is just to finish up 1 through 24 on there. Again, they go very quickly. We'll start with 25 tomorrow. Okay, so try to give 1 through 24 and number 14 from the page before. Try to give those a try tonight, and I will take some questions from those tomorrow. Okay? Very good.